Hi, I'm on my laptop. Okay, so we're on Jordan Peterson's Beyond Order, which is 12 more rules of life. He first has 12 rules of life, so together it's 24. Do the math. Okay, so I want to read you a chunk of this, and it's about do not carelessly denigrate or put down social institutions or creative achievement. So it goes like this. It is for such reasons that I assess the position of all my new clinical clients along a few dimensions largely dependent on the social world when I first start working with them. Cool beans. Have they been educated to the level of their intellectual ability or ambition? Is their use of free time engaging, meaningful, and productive? I don't think reels or video games are productive for me, but I still do it. Have they formulated solid and well articulated plans for the future? Are they and those they are close to free of any serious physical health or economic problems? Something to think about. Economic problems and your health. Where did I leave off? Do they have friends and a social life? If you don't have a million friends, but you have your support group, 5 people, we went over it a long time. I'll review it sometime if you want. A stable and satisfying intimate partnership, close and functional familial relationships, a career or at least a job that is financially sufficient, stable, and if possible, a source of satisfaction and opportunity. Jobs aren't always satisfying, but we have to pay mortgage, rent, we have to pay for food, we have to pay for car payments or lease car payments. So 1 of 2 people have to work. Sometimes 2 people have to work. Sometimes if you're an individual, you might have to work. And you might even have to work 2 jobs. My husband, when my kids were young, he works 3. Police at a funeral home and as a chauffeur to New York City for big shots. 3 jobs. That part of his life, myself and the children owe him a lot. If the answer to any of these 3 or more of these questions is no, I consider that my new client is insufficiently embedded in the interpersonal world and is danger of spiraling downward psychologically because of that. Heck, it's very succinct. I love him. People exist among other people and not as pure individual minds. As an individual does not have to be there well put together. If he or she can remain at least minimally acceptable in behavior to others, simply put, we outsource the problems of sanity. People remain mentally healthy not merely because of the integrity of their own minds, but because they are constantly being reminded how to think, act, and speak by those around them. Cool beans. If you begin to deviate from the straight and narrow path, if you begin to act improperly, people will react to your errors before they become too great and cajole. That's, bring you to laughter, laugh, tap, criticize you back into place. They will raise an eyebrow or smile or not, or pay attention or not. If other people can tolerate having you around, in other words, they will constantly remind you to not to misbehave and just as constantly call on you to be at your best. All that is left for you to do is watch, listen, respond appropriately to the cues. Man, I love this man. I love this man. And I was trying not to go to his books. And I know We Who Wrestle with God is the name of somebody in the Old Testament and became the name of the nation. So I feel like we who wrestle with God is going to be his take on religious things and biblical things. That won't help us since we all have our own belief system, or we don't have a belief system, which is a belief system if you don't believe. Don't get me started on that. So, and I got rid of the whoozy thing on the side. So have a snappy day, and I'll see you tomorrow.